I've taken to putting on this a little bit more resolution there. So I was talking about math in the last video and how if you change the plus sign 45 degrees, you get a completely different operator, which does a lot of different things. Isn't that interesting? So you go from this sign to this sign and it kind of communicates. It communicates more things. So 2 plus 2, well, that's not a good example. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is now 3, 3, 3. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 times 4 is 4, 4, 4, 4. It's 4 fours. So A times B is B number of A's, or A number of B's. B number of A's, or A number of B's. So 4 times 5 is 5 fours, or 4 fives. That's interesting, isn't it? So we never taught about arithmetic and kind of how it means. Like 4 times 5 is 5. I don't know how many times tables I learned. It's like 4 times 5 is 4 fives, and it's 5 fours. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 times 5 is 20. That's 11 more things. That's 4 fives, or 5 fours. 25 times 100 would be 25 hundreds, or 125s. It communicates one of the numbers the other number of times. It reproduces the other number, right? So if you have any number and you have a multiplication table, then that number can be reproduced the A number of times. 4 times 100, 400, 6 times 100, 600s, 100 times 100, 100 hundreds. So it'll be reproduced. And the letter X, Gebo, has to do with communication, and the kiss of communication, the kiss of life. The communication even of sex, the kiss of life. You can look at the word woman as to man, right? Because a woman can accommodate a man's penis, or a man, and then build another man. The woman can make another man or another woman out of a man's semen. Just think about that. A girl's vagina that a guy wants to have sex with so much, and he wants to stick his penis in her vagina, and she, some of them, maybe really wants that guy to stick his penis in her vagina. Really seeking that hard cock in her vagina to blow his warm, hot load into her uterus or cervix or whatever. And her body tells her that she really wants that, and she really wants him to touch her tits and kiss her or hug her and really wound her and swoon her and make her feel warm and comfortable and then wet and hot and satisfied eventually, and then hopefully continue to feel comfortable and more wet and hot and more increasingly comfortable and bonded to the point that they fall in love, and and all these things happen, and they have children, and they just live happily ever after. So the female body wants the cock wants to enter and can make, and now the female with the seed can make another woman, another life, or another man. And the strange thing is that most people walking around, most women have no idea where their children come from. Ask them, where do children come from? They probably say, from sex. From sex. So you think, let me get this straight, that you as a human, or me as a human, and all the humans in the world, all the men and women in the world, are derived from ovum and semen interacting and having a bunch of tiny little things that interact and grow and become more complicated, and they know exactly where the heart cell needs to be and the kidney cell, and there's some kind of blueprint that it knows how to make a human inside a female womb. It's not making an elephant inside of there. And you understand why that is, because you're an educated person. And you can bring up the G word, genetics, all you want. It means nothing to me. Genetics is the study of nothing. It's like economics. It's gobbledygook. It's gobbledygook. It's all gobbledygook. Genetics and sequencing the human genome is like, it's science fiction that's occupied us for 50 years. It's just like, what the fuck do most people get out of genes? Nothing, except the pharmaceuticals like, oh, well, you have a genetic disorder and you have to use this and it's gene therapy and blah, 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 blah. Like, fuck you and your genes. What have genes done for anybody? What has genes done for anybody? To tell us that cancer is genetic? It's not fucking genetic. It's behavioral. We get cancer, humans get cancer from other humans who've been sexually molested. You understand? Humans are getting sexually molested by the system. Humans are getting sterilized. And there are all kinds of problems, obesity and things, but domestic abuse, and the irrational distribution of negative, disintegrating energy between people who know each other or people who don't. Rape is no longer some guy jumping on a woman or taking her in the back of his van and tiring up and shoving his awful cock into her very unwilling pussy, and to the point that you can get a rape kit done and maybe collect some semen, and she can take a shower and spend years in therapy trying to get over this tremendously traumatic ordeal, which should never ever happen in the first place. And we should be disgusted at ourselves that anything like rape happens, that we think that some men are just going to rape somebody. What the fuck is that? I tell you, I'm a man, and the idea of raping a woman, beyond the mere fantasy that men or women may have of rape, and I know it's creepy, but people do fantasize about such things. I mean, I've been near sexual predators who'll show me the kind of erotic stories they read, and it involves like you're on a train and a woman brushes up against you and starts touching your cock. And this is supposed to be like nice for men, right? A young girl is in the woods and you see her and she takes down her pants and bends over and invites you to fuck her. You know, all these erotic stories are just as disgusting to women as they are to men. They're actually the rape of men. And so these stories are actually patterning men to think that they should be raped by women. You see? It's not even like I'm saying down on women. I'm just saying like in any way that I find sexual assault being encouraged, I always pick it out. I'm just more likely to pick out things to do with men today than I might have in the past, which now is correcting my vision, right? It happens to both sexes. Most people who are married are simply raping each other. They're simply raping each other. You can see it when you see them sitting down having coffee like they've never had sex, right? Because people who have had sex, people who have connected that way, they always have a connection. It doesn't matter if you have a wedding ring. It doesn't matter. All these little fucking symbols that you're given. You ever wonder why people need a wedding ring to show people that they're married? Hey, the way you should know that a woman is married is just by the way she carries herself. That she's happy and confident because she's made a genuine connection with a man, physically and emotionally. Right? They're not just raping each other. Right? They're not making love either. They're being normal humans. It's not a special thing to be in love. It should be a normal thing. Once you've established a way of living a normal life to begin with, if you're not living in a healthy world, how are you going to have a healthy love relationship? Love is like an athletic thing for the human being. It takes, and yet you hear so many people who talk about relationships, they say it takes a lot of work. We're so fascinated by work. We're like orcs. Orcs are the workers of Lord of the Rings. That everything has to take work. It's not worth doing unless it's hard work. A relationship is hard work, son. You've got to work at it. Come on now. Work, work, work. And it's like, how is that anything to do with human love? Why should love have anything to do with work? It's like, it should be a well-oiled machine. If it's done right and you're both healthy enough and you're in the right position and you've exchanged the right vows, not in a fucking church, but to each other. What can you say for sure, honestly, to that person that you love, that you can truly honor that statement? I will always respect you. I will always put you first. Right? I'll put our relationship first. I'll put you first. I'll put me first when I need to, adjusting for various situations. Because I may have to put myself first. You may have to put yourself first every day. And then we can put each other first too. That's what people in relationships do. It's not this stupid blah, 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 blah. I'll give my life for you. I'm not going to give my life for someone I love if it doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. And it just shows that people are not in a relationship. They're just portraying a relationship. Like actors on a stage. And if you think the acting world is bad, imagine what the people around you are like. Right? There's a woman that used to live down the hall. She couldn't tell the truth if she tried. There's nothing you can trust to what she says. Why? Because she's always portraying somebody. Out of anxiety, out of trauma, out of rape, out of shock. And out of all those things, she became a madam to help young girls have sex with strange men for money. Good for you. You know, her 2 sons have brain damage and she steals money from them, but puts things on Facebook advertising their so-called diseases, and what she's doing is the long-suffering mother while raping and sexually assaulting my mother and me. Good for you, right? But she's got, if you talk to her, it's like, oh, I have so many problems. My life is fucked. Everything's so hard for me. And she's making money and stealing money and getting money from this, that, or the other. And that's what she's been doing for herself her entire life. This person could never think about someone else, has never thought about anyone herself her entire life, and probably shouldn't. What an awful existence. To not be able to think about someone else other than yourself. You don't have to have friends to do that. It doesn't matter if you're alone, as I am most of the time. You can still think about other people. In all my thinking, I think about other people. And thinking about myself, I'm thinking about other people. Because when a human thinks about themselves and has human emotions, they're never just thinking about themselves. Believe it or not, as much as you might think I'm a strange person, other people do feel the same way I do. And if you don't like how we feel, that's your problem, because we're honest people, and you may not be an honest person. You may be a dishonest prick living your whole life in portrayal. And the thing is that people who live in portrayal, they're always suicidal. And this is something that no one in the world is studying. People who are suicidal are always living out a false self. They're living out a very strong delusion. Okay? And people who are living out very strong orders of portrayal, which is all the workers of the world, under the professional actors who run them, are always suicidal, which means that any worker who gets together with any other worker is going to most likely hasten mortification and disintegrating energy. That is, all workers are suicidal. Everyone in portrayal is suicidal. Therefore, most human beings are on a suicidal track. You want to understand why the world is suicidal? It's because everyone is fake. Everyone, the only way you can legitimize being suicidal is to have been pushed into an alternate personality complex in order to survive and emulate your environment. To literally have to pretend to be something so that you can be anything to people who aren't worth your loyalty to begin with, and who will never find anything you do enough for them, whether they care or not. And so your parents will never find anything you do enough for them. And even if you do, you'll never be sure that it's enough, because it's never enough. It's never enough. And even if you have parents who find enough, the system will never get enough from you. It's never enough. Look at it. It's raining never enough every fucking day. The banks are spreading money, just says never enough, never enough, never enough. And all the debt and all the fucking stars and all the blazing saddles of the sun on its death row existence. The sun itself has been placed on death row in your fucking astrology, right? The sun is on death row. The sun is basically waiting to die. And you're so fucking smart that you know that. You know that the sun of all life is dying. You're so smart. You fucking genius. You know that the sun that showers energy and intelligence into and out of the earth everywhere over the fucking planet for billions of years is somehow condemned to die. Because you're so fucking smart. And you think your life is so full of life. And your world is so fucking beautiful that in your world, the fucking sun itself is fucking dying. And you celebrate its death every fucking Easter. And you call yourself an honest person. And you call yourself someone who can operate upon reality. Give me a fucking break. You're a fucking loser, right? No decent, courageous native man on this earth, right, wants to deal with someone who thinks the sun is dying, for fuck's sake. Fuck, the sun is dying. So we've got this free life every day, and we're supposed to give it to your fucking job? Hey, give it to yourself. They have all your fucking labor. They have all your fucking flesh and blood. They eat up all your fucking time. Then they want more of it watching their fucking YouTube videos or watching their stupid fucking movies and their stupid fucking TV, listening to their stupid fucking music, watching their stupid fucking ads. Hey, reading their stupid fucking books, looking their stupid fucking magazines, taking your stupid fucking education, listening to your stupid fucking professors, listening to this stupid fucking history and the stupid fucking characters of the world stage, and listening to your stupid parents and their stupid stage where they're never going to get theirs, they're never going to get what they put into it, and we're just supposed to be like the sun, giving everything away to the cold black death that constantly demands more debt for everyone. The monetary system, holy fuck, sucking the life out of all human beings. Fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck your complicity. Fuck your job. Fuck your bank account. Fuck your species. Fuck your race. Fuck you. Fuck your family. Fuck the asshole that you fucking came out of, because that's what you fucking believe. You fucking believe in terms of the monetary system that you dropped down out of your mother's fucking asshole, for Christ's sake. You know what ass is? It's a pejorative of the fucking sun that lives inside a woman's fucking vagina. The sun lives in the waters of the deep, right? The fundamental essence of life, ether, is like water on this earth. It's basically the stuff of heaven when you die. It's like pure mental energy. It's pure mental energy. And you are pure mental energy, and you can live in pure mental energy. All of your limbs and all your senses are patterned after that pure mental energy. Remember we talked about a baby growing in the womb? That's pure mental energy, right? Coming into the world. Now you can fuck somebody all you want, but are you prepared for pure mental energy, right? When you live in a world that considers it dead, that has something called a soul, which basically means it's dead. Only dead things have souls. Did you know that? Only dead things have souls. So all humans are conceived with a soul, and all those people are dead, and they come from nothing but torture, and they go to nothing but torture, from torture to torture, right? The Bible means basically from torture to torture, right? That's what it means. It means from torture to torture. From the Alpha to the Omega, from torture to torture. Everywhere you go, from torture to torture to torture to torture to torture. Right? But you don't know that. You don't know the witchcraft. But it knows you. Right? You're pure mental energy. And your parents are not prepared for pure mental energy. They're not prepared for something and someone who isn't just growing from an ejaculation and a womb that is ovulating. On some woman who eats shit every day and just wants her boobs to be touched and her lips to be touched and be taken out for dinner now and then so she can look pretty and feels like she has somebody and doesn't have to feel lonely anymore. You know, build a nest and a family because that's what you do, and that's who she thinks she is. And they're all in portrayal constantly. They're all little actresses, and fat actresses increasingly. Very fat actresses. Who wants to be a worker? Who wants to be a dying actress on a stage that nobody fucking cares about? You're pure mental energy, and that mental energy has a flesh and blood. That spirit has a flesh and blood, and it is my flesh and blood. Right? This is made out of my mind. And when you die, right, there's nothing unfamiliar about your existence. You're not losing anything, right? You don't lose anything when you die. When you leave your body, you're as total a being as you've ever been. You have the natural volition of a completely eternal, primal, natural inhabitant of the most pure mental energy in existence. You're a natural inhabitant of heaven, which starts off as a mirror image of this world. Okay? That's where it overlaps. It's a mirror image of this world. You part from that place when you come here. And you have your mind, and your mind is now subject to the rigors of the temple that it has created out of itself. So, how did your body get created? You created it out of yourself, and with the help of the semen and the ovum from your mom and dad. And what makes your mother's womb important is that it is sacred to you, as anything ever will be, in terms of all of the purpose with which your flesh and blood is born and is conceived in the waters of the deep, where you make yourself out of your own mind, which is why you have all the senses that you do, which are not 5, but hundreds of thousands of senses, splayed out all over the earth. You sense a lot of things, and you can feel a lot of things, but you don't have to be scattered by that. The media and electronic entertainment and education and the constant pollution of human thought disperses your mental energy, and it weakens you. People have found that their energy strengthens when they stay away from the news and they stay away from people, and your mental energy can gather and focus and strengthen. If you went off to the woods for a year and never connected to anyone, aside from being lonely, you wouldn't really miss anything. You wouldn't miss anything about the world. You might miss human contact, right? So I've lived remotely and had a minimal of human contact, which didn't turn out to be very safe. So the few humans I chose to keep around me were always violent. Isn't that something? The few humans I ever interacted with while living a solitary life were always violent people. And they were always sterilized. They've all been sterilized, morally and sexually. They have the same problems I do. We all have a lot of the similar problems. But they approach them similarly in that they look to cults and religions, ways to deal with their pain, and connect to people that to do things that have some purpose and make the world a better place. So you can feel good, you not feel bad. And so there's a similarity there. And then is where the distinctions become. That's when you get the great divide. Whereas, their beliefs, they allow them, like a mentality, to supplant what should be their natural sense of morality. A belief is nothing when what your behavior demonstrates is that you're morally ambiguous at best. And when women try to have sex with me, for instance, without my consent, and I don't think they're really women. I think they're sterilized. I hear things about women and I see things with women and I wonder, what are you thinking? It's like you don't have any morals. You don't have any modesty whatsoever. A woman can have modesty and still be strong. It's not the same as being weak. I have modesty in my dealings with people. I have a reasonable amount of fear, terror, and anxiety about human beings, especially white females. And I have reason. I'm a studied human being, a studied mind, and I have a powerful mind force. And I'm not stupid. I hear what women do. I hear how they express themselves. Women are the most violent creature in the human race. And I don't wish them any more violence than they've already sustained that has made them that way. Let's be perfectly clear. I believe most women have been raped by their society. I believe we should be lucky if we can expect anything from them at all. I think women have a biological license to kill and any other disorder, which is why we can kill Jesus, right? Because women have a biological license to kill men. It'll always be accepted to sacrifice a man in public. It'll always be accepted. I've seen women sexually assault and physically abuse 3-year-old children in public with dozens of people, mostly women around them, doing nothing. I'm the only one who does anything. Because women have a license to beat, abuse, rape, and kill their own children, their husbands, or anyone at any time within whatever the law can allow them to do. That's what all women should be told when they're young. You can do anything. There are no morals for you as long as the law will permit you to do it. And that's how women behave. They're lawless. Women have no rules. They can do anything. They're always in portrayal. They can cry in an instant. They can have very convenient emotional outbursts, which starts when they're young. Right? If I have an emotional outburst, it's just weird. Nobody cares about that. But if my sister has an emotional outburst, everything stops, right? And men have a biological license to sacrifice themselves to women or to the system. So you know that the system is a woman because of how many men sacrifice themselves to it. Men don't have a biological license to sacrifice themselves to other men. If you want a man to be sacrificed, you have to get him to sacrifice himself to his mother or to a representative of his mother, or a Black Madonna, right? A Baphomet, for instance, or Darth Vader, right? Right. Notice that Luke in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, loses his father to Darth Vader and loses his mother to Darth Vader. Darth Vader is a Black Madonna. He has lost his mother and father. This now he's off. Now he's with strangers. He's with this weird, creepy Yoda. He meets this. I mean, he's by himself in the universe. But he has a job to do. He's a worker, right? Luke Skywalker is a worker. Now, I won't go into it today, but there's a lot of fascinating things about the idea of galaxies and the idea of outer space, which is all fake. It's all a mythology. The idea that galaxies are filled with millions of stars rotating a black hole, and they're all kept from running into each other by invisible lines of force that help us understand dark matter and string theory. I mean, this just gets more. First it was like Martians, then it was Venusians, and now it's like Palladians and galaxies and quasars and the Big Bang and the holy shit. I mean, it's just, and of course science fiction exploded onto TV. I mean, literature, and I think science fiction and outer space can be a very interesting platform to explore all kinds of ideas, except that people don't seem to see it for the stage that it is. It is a medium, it is a stage in itself where man is sacrificed. The whole point of outer space is to augment the sacrifice of men, not to alleviate the world from its all too terrestrial troubles, but rather to expedite the untimely, if pleasurable, imprisonment of our race for all time. In fact, it's already been accomplished because all our time is taken up by money. And it's taken up by the monetary system. It's taken up by the wars, the gambits, even if you think you can, there's no war for you, there's no plague for you, there's no homicide for you, there's no huge crime for you, you're not going through a major health issue, your family isn't going through political persecution. You're still in it.